The Boston Bruins went all in during the 2022-23 NHL season to seek the Stanley Cup title. They traded a ton of draft picks to get Tyler Bertuzzi, Garnet Hathaway, and Dmitry Orlov before the March 3 trade deadline. Veterans Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci have signed one-year contracts that will result in surpluses applied to the 2023-24 salary cap. After an impressive first-round exit from the playoffs at the hands of the Florida Panthers came the check to the Bruins. The roster will be different next season. We took advantage of our cap situation a little bit. Everyone knows about our cap of $4.5 million, so we have some limitations, like many teams in the league. Our goal this season was to build the absolute best roster we could assemble, and we tried to run legit, and we failed, without question, Bruins general manager Don Sweeney said at a news conference Tuesday. We have to pay a little more. It could mean we're bringing in younger players, it could mean squad changes we'd like to make. It could mean I can sign one of those 3 players acquired before the trade deadline, or another unrestricted one. Players we have to contact, 2 RFAs Trent Frederic and Jeremy Swayman, which we will do. The roster changes are probably just around the corner. We won't be the same team. The salary cap is expected to increase by just $1 million for the 2023-2024 campaign, to a cap of $83.5 million. The Bruins have more than 10 players from their playoff roster eligible for unrestricted or restricted free agency this summer. Right-wing star David Pasternak's salary cap has been raised from $6.67 million to $11.25 million, with an 8-year extension from 2023 to 24. The Bruins have limited cap space, less than $10 million, and too many guys to re-sign. If Bergeron and/or Krejci leave, the center immediately becomes an area that needs updating. Which players should the Bruins explore trading this offseason to free up much-needed cap space? Here are 5 names worth considering. All salary information via Cap Friendly. Hall had a fantastic first-round series against the Panthers with 5 goals and 3 assists in 7 games. Having a player of Hall's caliber on the third line was a great luxury and really showcased the impressive depth of Boston's roster. Hall will turn 32 in November. He has dealt with numerous injuries in his career, including a lower body injury that caused him to miss 20 games at the end of the 2022-23 regular season. Hall was also a bit inconsistent offensively last season, having individual goal droughts of 15, 8, and 7 games. He hasn't scored more than 20 goals in a season since 2017-18. It could be very difficult for the Bruins to reacquire left wing Tyler Bertuzzi, who they acquired from the Red Wings before the March 3 trade deadline. He is 3 years younger than Hall and has proven to be an excellent option for the Bruins, especially under David Pastrnak. Bertuzzi is a quality scorer, an excellent playmaker, contributes to special teams, and does the dirty work to win puck battles in fat areas of the ice. In a year when the free agent category is not very strong, he will be a coveted player. Hall's move and his $6 million cap would give the Bruins more flexibility to potentially bring back Bertuzzi or one of their other UFAs. With the Bruins only having 7 forwards signed for next season, it would be better to trade a defender than Hall. Hall has a no-trade clause in his contract that allows him to submit a no-trade list of 10 teams in 2023-24 and 2024-25, according to Cap Friendly. 29 Matt Grzelcyk is a great defender. He is a great skater, can transition on the ice, create scoring chances in 5v5s and power plays, etc. Dropping him from the lineup for Game 6 against the Panthers and putting Connor Clifton in his place was one of the biggest mistakes Bruins coach Jim Montgomery committed in the first round. The Bruins need help up front and especially in the middle. The blue line is an area where the Bruins have enough depth to trade a quality player like Grzelcyk and still be fine. So moving Grzelcyk for border relief or as part of a package for future impact is a deal worth considering. Another factor is that Grzelcyk still has a year left on his contract. If the Bruins don't see Grzelcyk as part of their future plans, it makes sense to trade him and not risk losing an asset for nothing in free agency next summer. Forbort is a solid defense. He blocks shots, takes on heavy defensive duties, struggles on dirty ice surfaces, and was a key part of the Bruins' #1 penalty kick last season. The PK was where Forbort really shined, but Bissek showed he could kill penalties at high speed even when he wasn't in the lineup. Boston had the highest shooting percentage in the league, 93.3%, during the 15 games Forbort lost to end the regular season. Trading Forbort with a draft pick or prospect and replacing him with Jakub Zboril on the left side of the blue line would make sense. Zboril isn't as strong defensively as Forbort, but he brings more offensive ability to the lineup. The savings at the frontier would be worth it. Forbort's no-trade clause allows him to submit to the 3-team no-trade list, according to Cap Friendly. The Bruins were unable to move Riley last season. As a result, his contract was buried in the AHL. Now that Riley is in the final year of his contract, it might be a little easier to negotiate him. Riley is by no means a bad player. He skates well, can move the puck on ice, and his playing skills are above average. Teams can do worse than Riley in their third pairing. Finding Riley a new home should be a top priority for the Bruins this summer, even if they have to withhold salary or attach a pick to close the deal. Ullmark's stellar 2022-23 season came out of nowhere. Sure, he's been a solid goaltender for most of his career, including his first season in Boston in 2021-22. But no one could have guessed that he would secure the goaltending triple by leading the league in wins, save percentage and goals against average. What are the chances of him repeating his 2022-23 regular season success or something similar going forward? It's possible, but the chances are probably not high. However, the real reason to consider trading Ullmark is that the Bruins can't spend more than $9 to $10 million on goaltending space when they have another glaring lineup problem to deal with. Reserve goaltender Jeremy Swayman is a restricted free agent this summer. He could earn around $4 million per season in his next contract. The 3-year, $12 million contract that Dallas Stars goaltender Jake Oettinger signed as an RFA last September is a good blueprint for Swayman. Assuming Swayman's next deal includes a $4 million cap, that would mean the Bruins would spend $9 million on their goaltender. The number of teams that spent $9 million or more on their goaltenders last season was less than 5. The Bruins have 2 #1 goaltenders in Ullmark and Swayman. They can afford to move a player of Ullmark's caliber and still get a top goalkeeper. Swayman is not an accident. We have a large enough sample to show that he is capable of being a top 10 goalkeeper. Only 5 goalkeepers have a better save percentage than Swayman since the start of the 2021-22 season. He is also 5 years younger than Ullmark and fits into the timeline of key franchise players like David Pastrnak, Charlie McAvoy, etc. Ullmark's no-move clause expires at the end of the 2022-23 league season. The final 2 years of his contract include a no-trade clause in which he can submit a list of teams, 16 in 2023-24, 15 in 2024-25, that will not accept a trade for the addition, according to Cap Friendly. If the Bruins traded Ullmark, they would have to find a veteran for Swayman. Brandon Bussi and Kyle Kaiser are not ideal NHL reserves due to their lack of experience. The best way to go about this scenario would be to sign up for a cheap veteran's backup. It's wonderful to have you here. I am extremely happy with your presence and would love to hear your opinion in the comments, so that we can together expand our knowledge of Boston through this channel. Sharing knowledge is essential, so I would be very grateful if you would subscribe to our channel, allowing us to reach even more fans. With your help, I feel motivated to post videos daily and keep it constantly updated. By subscribing, you will receive notifications whenever a new video is published. Thank you immensely for your support.